Tennessee WildCast is live on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We thank y'all for tuning in. Today, we are on location at the Moment of Freedom handicap accessible fishing pier at Tellico Hatchery, and it's going to be a great show. Got Miss Mime Barnes with me, Mark Thurman, and Philip Earhart, and it's going to be a good show. Excited to be here. This is a brand new pier here on the Tellico River, and it's going to be fun. So thank you guys for being with us.
Awesome. Beautiful location.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity for handicapped folks to get out here and fish and enjoy what many of us can do with two legs and make it's real easy for us. But guys in wheelchairs don't always have that opportunity, and now they do. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
But today we're going to learn about these guys that are guests with us today and take it from there. So first I want to introduce Mr. Mark Thurman and find out what he does for the agency. Mark's been with us for a while and is a great guy, and we appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. It's nice to be here. So I'm a regional fisheries manager with the agency. I work out of our fisheries division, but I'm also out of our Crossville office. I've worked with the agency since 1986.
No.
Worked out. Oh, yeah. A little bit of everything over my career, and very happy in the place I am now, working in places like this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to be.
Great office today.
Exactly.
And this is your office every day.
This is my office every day. I wish I could spend most of it here. You reckon I could work a desk in somewhere on the corner?
There's one right there.
Yeah. Philip, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
You worked for the agency, didn't you, one time?
I did work for the agency at one time. So I grew up on a dairy farm in Upper East Tennessee. Went to work for the Army Corps of Engineers straight out of college. Went to school at Tennessee Tech.
Me too.
No, there we go.
One up you.
Spent almost 5 years with the Army Corps, and then left them and actually came to work for Tennessee Wildlife, and spent a little over 5 years with the agency. Then was given the opportunity to switch to go to the Forest Service and actually stay where I was there in Cleveland. And I've been with the Forest Service now since 2011. Been in the position I'm in now as the South Zone Wildlife Biologist for, it'll be 4 years in July, so time flies.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. Folks always ask, what's your background? How do I get into this job? And I guess tech's one of the ways to go.
It's a good school.
Tennessee Tech is a great school. A lot of our officers and biologists come out of that school. UT Martin, UTK.
It's true.
We got some great schools here in Tennessee. Let's talk about why we're here today. This new pier is here, and Mark has had a big hand in making this happen, along with the Forest Service and all kinds of people. So let's just tell everybody about this pier and how it came about.
All right. Well, the Moment of Freedom program is a partnership between our agency, our commission, and the foundation, the Wildlife Resources Foundation. When the program started, it really focused on hunting. We had duck blinds, deer blinds, turkey blinds out in places on WMAs across the state.
Right.
And Shane Hall, who was the coordinator of the Moment of Freedom program, kind of after it had started, but anyway, he became the coordinator. Mm-hmm. And Shane wanted to do a site on a stream somewhere. He wanted to take that, what had been started, and build on it and do something, really different that gave people access to a place like this.
Right.
And we got together, met up here, toured the place, looked at sites, talked about, what the process was going to be and what we needed to do. And unfortunately, it wasn't long that Shane passed away from cancer. And, maybe spent one whole day with him up here and in person, and the rest of the time was on phone. But that one day was enough to really kick in the whole process and say, yeah, we got to do this. And that's how it came to be. We had great support from our commission, private donors donating money to help get the project in place, and partners like the Forest Service to get here. We're here today with this great fishing site. And there are a whole lot of steps in between, but that's it in a nutshell.
So folks who are listening can hear that water in the background,
Yes.
and we're right below a beautiful small waterfall and riffle area. And how large is this pier?
Have
Well-
to ask the engineers that built it.
I know, our TWRA
You know,
engineers.
I know.
That's amazing.
It's 20 feet, probably so. 20 feet or so deep, and enough for 3 chairs to access it. You can also, you got an angle here, so you could have 4 or 5 people fishing here.
And great access from the parking lot. It's a
Yes.
beautiful wooden pier right out over the water. It's
Yes.
absolutely gorgeous.
And of course, that's probably one of the longer ramps that I've seen built for something. But you're kind of dealing with some terrain here that presented some engineering challenges, and I do want to give a plug to our engineering division.
Exactly.
They designed it and came out here and built it through this past winter. And this is a rough place to work in the winter.
Fully
So-
ADA compliant.
Yeah.
It's stout. I was here when they were in the middle of the build, and it's amazing how well and the structure's anchored here. It's not going anywhere.
No.
It's
If it's gone, the hatchery, I don't know what will happen.
so tell them the exact location. It's right here at the hatchery, right?
Yes, the site is located at the Tellico Hatchery. If you do a search for Tellico State Fish Hatchery and you head this direction, you'll find this pier, because this is a parking lot that all of our, the hatchery actually is a major destination for tourists in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And so that parking lot is where all those visitors park. And if they just head up this way, you'll find a nice place to come fish.
So if folks are visiting and there is a wheelchair-bound visitor, what do we ask?
So we did not designate this as just individuals in wheelchairs. Didn't just say those are the only people that can use this. So it's here for the public to enjoy. But what we do ask is that when somebody's here, if somebody in a wheelchair comes to fish, let them fish, and if it's not being used, come out here and enjoy the river. I mean, it really opens up streamside access to, we've seen people with walkers down here, so it's not just wheelchair accessibility that's needed. We've seen all kinds of people with physical limitations be able to come here and either fish or just enjoy the river.
And I think that's one of the big reasons why, when you first approached us about this, why as an agency, I feel like we were so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
This is what a golden opportunity and a beautiful place to be able to bring that user group out that may not have other opportunities, especially this far off the beaten path. So as an agency, we were really excited to be a part of this. So thank you, Mark, for including us and letting us be here.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Are there any other areas like this around this?
Well, now we have Green Cove Pond just over the ridge.
Okay.
That is it's a pond, and it's for people with disabilities. It's for seniors. It's for kids to go fish, and so it's on still water. As far as a site on a stream somewhere, I don't know in Tennessee if we have any specifically like this, and so this is kind of it's unique in its setting.
And I wonder if there's any like this around the U.S. Is this one of the first? Probably. Maybe.
No, well, so there are sites across the country.
Okay.
And as we researched kind of what we wanted to put here, we looked at those sites. Some states, I think it was Wisconsin, had several sites.
Awesome.
But there's a fairly limited number of sites along flowing streams in the mountains, because it does present some challenges.
Right.
And that's one thing I would say on the periphery, watching how Mark was able to contact some of those folks. I know there's another one in Georgia on a Forest Service place that, we got lessons learned from them. And then Mark really working hard with those engineering folks and some of our engineering folks to manage these flows and build something that's going to be here.
Yeah.
Well,
kind of the right balance between, having it at a height that it doesn't flood, but close enough to the water that people can fish.
And this area is stocked.
This is part of our put and take management area on the Tellico River. It's also, so it gets stocked weekly from March 1st through the beginning of August, middle part of August. And then this particular site is also located in our delayed harvest zone. So it's a catch and release season. We stock some quality fish in the fall. That starts in October. And it's catch and release fishing in this area up to the state line. Actually starts at North River. And it's catch and release fishing, and this will be a place I think we'll see people fly fishing from wheelchairs out here, which will be really neat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And one of the other things we're excited about is, Kids Fishing Day. On Free Fishing Day on June 8th, it's always at the Tellico Hatchery. It's a cooperative effort, again, between the agencies. Now we can get kids out here, too, that may not have an opportunity.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and that's coming up June 8th, Free Fishing Day.
And that's the day of the Kids Fishing Day event here.
Okay, cool.
So before we move on in topic, though, this Moment of Freedom is such a special portion of our agency. If folks want to donate to that Moment of Freedom, where should they go?
They should go to the foundation. The foundation has an account for the Moment of Freedom program, and go to the foundation and donate.
TWRF.net.
Yes, or they can find it through tnwildlife.org. If they
Right.
just put in Moment of Freedom, they can get to that site.
Because already today I've had conversations with people about where's the next one. So there's a lot of interest, and I think this is, this site here has really sparked some ideas for people.
You put your hard hat back on.
Yeah, put my hard hat back on.
Well, we appreciate everyone that's put an effort into this. Agency folks, national forest folks, the engineers of our guys, and the commission, and they've all done a lot. So we appreciate all those volunteers and everything. So
Yeah, it is a remarkable feat, and we're really happy to see it come to pass, and we're really happy to celebrate with both of you today.
It's been nice.
yeah,
Absolutely.
It was awesome to see Zeke here. Young man, he's
Shout out to Zeke.
Yeah, he's a great guy, great kid, and it was fun to watch him cut the ribbon and know that somebody like him can catch a fish. He was here fishing earlier, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty neat to see.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to move on and talk about, we have so many partnerships with the National Forest. And I said I come down to events from time to time, and I've seen Philip in the water. He's always here for the river cleanup. So many different parts that we're partnering on. Mark, you mentioned brook trout earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Would you both chime in and talk a little bit about those partnerships? Let's start with the fisheries side of things.
Sure. So we were given some opportunities to work together. I think first and foremost, the missions of both of our agencies are very similar. We're really wanting to do the right thing for the resources and for our user groups. So I think it presented a really unique opportunity with the entire Cherokee National Forest being managed as a wildlife manager there to start with. So we've always been great partners, worked well together, because I think we'd all agree there's way more work to be done than any one agency can do.
It's true.
And having worked for both agencies, there's things sometimes that are easier for TWRA to do than it's easier for us to do, and kind of vice versa. So, what we've tried to do is find those opportunities where we can work well together and supplement each other well. And, we've got some great success stories I think we'll talk about today. And the brook trout, like you were alluding to, is one of those. So.
Oh, yeah. We've had a lot of the brook trout work that we've done with each other. We've been in it from the time we started trying to raise southern strain fish. And, they're always, when we're doing surveys, we've always got help from the Forest Service coming out. And if they've got things that they need to do on the forest surveys, we come and help them.
Because these guys have got a level of expertise sometimes that some of us don't have. A lot of times we're a little more generalist. So there's been more than once I've called Mark and said, hey, Mark, we've got this program, this project. What do you think about it? And Mark's helped not only with helping do the work on the ground, but even his technical expertise. So, we're thankful for those opportunities.
Last year we did that fish attractor work at Indian Boundary. And that was kind of a really quick thing that we threw together. We brought boats up, and they were doing some work that allowed us to put some fish attractors at Indian Boundary Lake, another really great fishing site on the forest.
So one of the things we mentioned before is that, even though we're statewide and even though you're this national agency, there's so much work to be done. We can't do it ourselves. We look for those opportunities. And Philip, talk to us about that good neighbor agreement that we have with your agency and how that came about. And I know some of the projects that the two of you have worked on together have stemmed out of that agreement.
Oh, absolutely. So in 2014 in the Farm Bill, they created a new thing called the Good Neighbor Authority. And the intent was to take more of a holistic whole lands approach. Obviously, the resource doesn't stop needing to be managed at the National Forest boundary. So this gave us the ability to start crossing those boundaries and working with state partners in order to get that meaningful work accomplished. So once that came out, we started looking at, hey, how can we make one of these opportunities work? So we were able to draft a master good neighbor agreement between our two agencies that basically framed up that we agree we want to work together. We've got mutual goals that we want to try to achieve, and I think we think we can do better together. So that framework set it up to where we can do what's called supplemental project agreements, to where we identify a project, just like the brook trout work Mark was talking about, that we both see as mutually beneficial, and then we can capitalize on that. And what it enables us to do is the state agency can come do work on the National Forest land, and then a lot of times the Forest Service can actually reimburse the state for that work that they're doing.
Wow.
And it's a really great thing for us because, you know, you've got folks doing that work then that have that level of expertise. They've got a vested interest in it. And then, for example, I keep saying brook trout, I'm going to tell the details in a minute, but, you know, we get a project that we both have a really tangible result from, and it's been great. So we've really built a program around it, both aquatics and terrestrially.
Yeah, I see. I've heard the benefits over and over and over again from that partnership, and we'll talk a little bit more. Brandon Ware was on the program some months ago and shared a little bit, but we'll expand upon that.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's and really the benefits to the public, the work that gets done, whether it's sporting public or just people that want to get out and enjoy the forest, it's just a big benefit to the public when we can do things like that.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of work going on in associating with that good neighbor agreement with the right-of-ways, with the National Wild Turkey Federation, that kind of thing. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. So 26
wildlife right-of-ways.
It is. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're using prescribed fire and potential wildfire fuel breaks that are created from linear wildlife openings in order to prepare us to manage wildfire in the future and or be able to put, you know, the right type of prescribed fire on the ground. So we saw an opportunity working with NWTF to try to get some more work done on the ground. So those folks came together, stepped up, were able to donate some money to the agency and then use matching Pittman-Robertson funds. The agency was able to buy some equipment that we could use. It's a tractor with a long arm mower on it that they could use here on the forest. And then we were able to use that good neighbor authority we were talking about to where we could actually reimburse the agency for doing that work. So the really cool thing that worked out for us was that it poised us where there was an opportunity that there was some regional fuels money where we were looking for projects across the country where we could create more fire breaks and more fuel breaks. So the fact that the agency had that machine, we had the good neighbor agreement in place, it enabled us to capitalize on that. And then we had to compete on a national basis requesting those funds, but we were successful. And what it did is it let us go from usually we were doing somewhere between 8 and 10 miles a year with the long arm. In 2016 and 17, we were able to do 106 miles that year.
Amazing.
So having those pieces in place really maximized that, and now we've really built a program around it. And we're getting a lot of good benefits. You know, we're creating those fire breaks on the ground, but we're also creating some amazing wildlife habitat. You know, for example, we've got some interns out working today that were in the same spot they flushed a grouse yesterday.
Nice.
In one of the sites that we did some habitat work. Wow. So, you know, that just reinforces, hey,
that's pretty cool.
Makes us feel good.
Yeah, so yesterday I spoke with Brandon Ware, who again was on the show a few months ago, and he said this year alone, that so far, chainsaw work was 2.5 miles, and then let me read it. Have long arms 6 miles or 36 acres of linear wildlife openings, and chainsawed 2.5 miles for 36.25 acres, and we're just this far into the year.
We're just getting started.
Yeah,
and that's where I can't say enough good about those folks, and especially a lot of our fire folks. We've worked really hard this year again since this is a fire project. We were able to utilize our hotshot crew and some other folks that are, you know, they're trained to use chainsaws. They're very efficient with them. You know, you say that number 2.5 miles and you think of how many miles we've got in the forest, that's not much. But when you start cutting most of the trees within 75 foot of a linear opening for 2.5 miles, that's a lot of tree cutting.
2.5 miles, I think, is longer up here.
It is.
Or over here, down here, where we are.
It's like dog years.
But yeah, you know, you say the good things, but I know as an agency, as a region, and individual employees, they speak so highly of that agreement and the benefits and how it's helping TWRA reach its mission and work towards its mission. So we're really grateful and take the opportunity to say thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, because we couldn't do it without you. And, you know, we get the same, because in our region now, it's essentially from Texas to Virginia and everything south. You know, I get to go to some biologist meetings with folks from different states that don't always have the same working relationship we've got, and it just reinforces how blessed we are. So thank you for that, too, and being good partners.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, was tell us a little bit about the Cherokee National Forest and those numbers. It's an amazing place to visit.
Oh, I'd love to. So the Cherokee National Forest is a little over 656,000 acres of public land in East Tennessee. The south zone of the Cherokee is about 305,000 of that. 3 southeast Tennessee counties. You've got the Ocoee and the Tellico Ranger districts. That's where I work at. And our counterparts on the north zone, they've got a little over 350,000 acres up there they manage, and I think 10 counties. They're a little more spread out than we are, and we're a little more consolidated. But it's amazing the elevation differences on the Ocoee district versus the Tellico, and we talked about brook trout again, I'm going to say it, but you know, a lot of those are on the Tellico because, you know, we can get over 5,000 feet elevation here. So you can be in town and it be 85 degrees and be on top of at Wig Meadow, and it's, you know, it's in the 60s. So it's really an amazing place. We've got lots of really good campgrounds, lots of trails you can hike. You know, the whole thing's a wildlife management area, so it's managed, you know, for hunting by Tennessee Wildlife, and lots of fishing opportunities. Just a great place to bring your family and come to. Mark mentioned the Indian Boundary. It's kind of a shout out to it with it being right here on Tellico. Great place to camp. You know, we took what Mark was saying. We were trying to clean up around the picnic pavilion and around the beach. We had some trees we needed rid of. What better way to get rid of them than to work with Mark and his staff to take his boats out and sink them and make some better fishing habitat for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, that was a great opportunity. And I'll talk about brook trout all day.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, share, take the opportunity to share a little bit more about that program. You know, one of the things that I often hear is about that warming water temperatures. And here we are in May, and it's a pretty warm day for May.
Well, it is. And, you know, we have our native trout, the Southern Appalachian brook trout is a, you know, iconic fish in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and you know, we've got a lot of work going on to try to expand the range for that fish. So a couple of different ways we're doing that. We're raising them and putting them back in habitat that we feel like is suitable. We're also evaluating habitat right now. We've got, you know, a program kind of started up this year. We've got data loggers that are going to measure water temperature through the year.
Through both agencies?
Yes, we did. Actually, we had gotten a grant from Trout Unlimited to get the data loggers.
Nice.
And partnered up with the Forest Service and hiked in some areas and put those things out, and that'll help us understand, you know, what's going on with the habitat out there. And we've got, you know, fishable brook trout water here in this part of the forest. It's a little more. It's kind of like you were talking about. The northern end is different and a little more kind of spread out, but there's a little bit more brook trout water up there. But we have some really good brook trout streams. Sycamore Creek that feeds Tellico just upstream from here is a great brook trout stream. So something we're working on to try to, you know, just maintain where they're at and expand some where we can.
This brook trout project, I got to go up Sycamore Creek when they did some fish sampling and shocking, and man, that's some tough work, hard work. I wasn't even carrying a backpack shocker, but I was wore out that day running the camera. But hiking these streams and climbing through there and sampling, and it's amazing.
If you're having trouble sleeping, that's a good cure for it.
A good way to do it.
Yeah.
These guys put in a lot of hard work. The hatchery guys here at the hatchery working with these fish, and it's just amazing.
The good thing is on your second trip, you get to start at the top and work your way down versus start at the bottom.
They didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
But you have to go walk back out. It's easy. Uphill both ways.
Yeah, I know, it was. It felt like it was.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, what else can folks get into here at the forest, South Cherokee?
You know, I guess to speak specifically, you know, we're getting into the peak of recreation season. So, you know, all our campgrounds are open now, so we got a lot of camping. I think that's a good chance for me to talk about bears for just a second.
Sure, that'd be great.
We do have a new food storage order on the forest, and the intent with that is to protect people and to make sure that bears don't get habituated on getting food that may be left out. A lot of the trouble that we have with bears here is when they get into a trash can or they get somebody's food they left out, and then they get a free meal, and it's they can walk through the mountains and work for food, or they can try to get something in the campground. They're going to come the easy way. So that was the intent. We had already got all new bear-proof trash cans, so we've got that taken care of. And the next step was, just trying to educate people and talk to them about how you need to store your food when you do come out to the National Forest. So we're excited. That's a good opportunity. So when you're here, enjoy that. We've got camping on all the districts, the Ocoee and the Tellico here on the south end. Lots of trails, lots of mountain bike trails, good opportunities there. We've got some horse trails. We do a lot of work with the backcountry horsemen. I mean, actually, some of the partnership work we do on the linear wildlife openings also benefits them.
Oh, wow.
So that a lot of times is how we try to maximize what we're doing, so that whatever project we're doing with our limited resources, it benefits as many, terrestrial and aquatic wildlife resources as well as our partner resources at the same time.
Cool. I've seen some signage coming in about those efforts with the bear, stuff. So that's cool, and getting the word out there. That's great.
And it's another huge partnership, working with the agency and with Dan Gibbs and the new Bearwise that's come out.
Bearwise.org, yeah.
And trying to push it out to where folks on the forest, in the region, they're seeing the same consistent message everywhere. So, we've got some interns working with us this summer that are in school right now trying to get a wildlife fisheries degree. They're going to go out and talk to people about it and explain, hey, this isn't just another rule that we're asking people to follow. There's a reason behind it, and it's ultimately for their safety and for the bear's safety.
Yeah, bearwise.org is one that we've been pushing just to help people understand how to live or camp or hike with bears, or if they're just visiting the area, how they should behave, especially with their food.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I just want to mention, go to our website, tnwildlife.org, and check out the hunting guide. That'll have all the information about the hunting out on the Cherokee.
So we're always mentioning tnwildlife.org. Where should they go to learn about the Cherokee?
Oh, so to look for the Forest Service here at Cherokee specifically, if they'll go to FS, like Forest Service, .usda/Cherokee. So we're an agency underneath the United States Department of Agriculture. So fs.usda/Cherokee.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, a lot of good information. Real quick, if somebody wants to come out here, where are we again? Right here at the Tellico
We're
Hatchery.
at Tellico State Fish Hatchery.
And the pier is right here at the entrance to the hatchery. It's open for everyone, but mainly if there's somebody here in a wheelchair, give them access, make room for them. Make sure you got your proper licenses and that kind of thing. tnwildlife.org for that. But it's going to be great.
I think so.
Philip, I'll say thank you for the hatchery, or for the partnership.
Yes.
Mark, thanks for your work here throughout the region, and we look forward to better and more things.
Oh, absolutely. We're very thankful as well. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next time on Tennessee WildCast.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.